Good evening. You're not going to hear much of anything except for my voice and a bunch of frogs. You're not going to see anything because it's nighttime and I'm just talking. I don't know about how y'all feel about things, but I'm halfway through my life, if I'm fortunate enough to live long enough, and I am completely disgusted by what I see in the news, in politics, in the morals and values of our country going down the tubes. First and foremost, we cannot take care of the people in our country as it is. We have a big problem with homelessness. Huge. We have a big problem with our veterans and taking care of them who have mental disabilities of some kind, and a lot of them end up homeless. We have a big problem with our children in this country going hungry, as well as adults. We have a big problem in this country with lack of health care, affordable health care. I don't believe that necessarily free health care, but affordable would be nice. Affordable, decent coverage would be nice. We have many problems in this country, and we're just, a portion of our population just thinks we should be able to let anybody in. And given certain mindsets of certain people with a criminal intention, that's not such a good idea. We have enough problems with the ones we have here in our country who are citizens. I don't believe that all the things that are considered criminal behavior should be treated as such. A lot of the punishments are not equal. I believe in certain things need to be legalized. We have way too many laws in this country to regulate things, therefore creating criminals that otherwise would not be criminals. And I'm not talking about stealing or murdering. I'm not talking about the big things. I'm talking about little things. It's just that none of this is making sense. And people who are supposed to be educated and who are, some of them don't have college degrees now, like AOC. And, or maybe she has a college degree, but she was a bartender. Let's just say they all have college degrees. Let's just say all of them. All the ones in charge of our states and our country, politics, they're supposed to be the upper echelon. And I see a bunch of behavior that is just bizarre. Like, I'm wondering what's in the water, what's in the air, what's going on here. Because I have 2 young men who are grown, but young. And I have 2 children I'm still trying to raise. And what I'm seeing here is scary. Really scary. Now, granted, what we are seeing on TV is skewed to the 5 industries that own all the television stations, last I heard, and what it is that they want to put out for our public consumption, which is not always based in factual information. I see a lot of opinions going on, and a lot of one-sided one way, one-sided the other. We need more than two parties in this country. That's a fact. Because things are getting out of hand, completely out of hand. I see a lot of people struggling. Now things have gotten better as far as percentages in this country of people working, but I have a suspicious feeling that if I read the fine print, it's not all it's cracked up to be. As far as full-time jobs with health insurance benefits and retirement benefits and the things that our parents and my parents and grandparents could rely on. I don't see many people having much in my generation and the ones behind me to rely on besides Social Security, and that is questionable for our older years. I see a lot of us in trouble, big trouble. Inflation, the way things have skyrocketed since the 1980s as far as cost. Wages not coming up to compensate for those costs. The middle class is becoming smaller and smaller, and most of us are going into the lower income bracket because we're not getting the income to cover the things it used to cover. It's just not making any sense. And I don't know how you fix this. I mean, our morals and values are in the freaking toilet. What was not acceptable 20 years ago is like, you better accept it or you're going to be called a bunch of names and be looked at as just, some horrible person. I mean, now racism's being thrown around all over the place. I don't know what happened. I have lived in the South, and I've lived in parts of the Midwest up north. I've lived in California. I've lived in Illinois. I could keep going. And as I was growing up, I could see the progress. I could see it. And it's not there anymore. It hasn't even gone backwards. It's gone to some place that it's never existed before. Ever. Being white is now a problem. A huge problem. I mean, 61% of the United States is white as of 2016. And in the teens, like 18% is Hispanic, and then 13% is African American, and then 6% is Asian. And now those are 2016, 3 years ago. Now, granted, it's not probably 100% accurate because the, Census Bureau or whatever, some huge argument out of, well, you can't ask somebody their race, or you can't ask somebody this or that or the other. But it shouldn't even be an issue anymore. I'm seeing skewed numbers of people. I mean, we have included everybody in everything. There are African American police officers, there are African American doctors, there are Hispanic doctors, there are Asian doctors, there are people on television. I mean, more and more and more, and some now it looks like 50 for the most part. Everything is equal. It's overly compensated to make sure that everybody's included. You know, when 50% of the people on TV you're seeing are African American and they're only 13% of the population, I think we have made progress. And only 6% as of 3 years ago were Asian, and you see more of them on television than 6% of 100 people. And I think we've made progress. I think things have turned around, but we're screaming and yelling in this country about racism, and I don't understand. And it all boils down to morals and values and learning the facts and taking responsibility for yourself and living with character and being a decent human being, period. And I don't see a lot of that at all. I just want to pack my stuff up, live in a tiny house somewhere, totally self-sufficient, and shut it all out. Because it is nothing nice. And I can only pray that the majority of Americans aren't buying this. Are not buying this. But I have these doubts because as a former educator, I know, I've seen in the public school system in parts of our country where, you know, if these students today were tested like we were in the 1980s and put to the scrutiny that we were put in, and I was in public schools too, they wouldn't pass. They would not pass. It's a total injustice to our children. And these are the ones growing up behind me that have these thought processes and believe everything that they hear and believe everything that they see just because somebody said it on television or it, you know, the old saying, question authority. Respectfully, they don't even have any respect anymore. They don't have any self-respect. And therefore, they don't have any respect for anybody else. A lot of them. Not all of them. And as a parent, I do not want these people coming into the schools and teaching my children about anything beyond biology and the way the female body works and the way the male body works. You separate them like we were in 6th grade in Colorado, and you're taught about the anatomy, and you're taught about, for females, how to take care of yourself hygienically when you have your period, and how, you know, the birds and the bees, just in case your parents didn't figure, you know, tell you by then, which most had. And that's it. That's all they need to know. Do not need to be talking to them about what they want to be, what they should be, who they need to be with. None of that. None of it. That's up to the parents. That's the parents' job to tell them how to protect themselves, what they should be doing or not doing according to morals and values. And it's not, I don't know, it's just not being done. Because these parents are the ones that are behind me. A lot of them. And they didn't get it when they were younger, so how do I expect them to be adults and try and do the right thing? I don't know. It's just, I just feel like I pray to God there's a silent majority here And I hope a lot of them are the ones younger than me who are going to finally stand up and say, enough is enough. We've had enough. This is beyond, we don't want to hear it anymore. We don't want you to talk about it anymore. We expect you to do your job and do it correctly and clean up the mess that are going on in these bigger cities. Don't let anybody into this country unless they do it the legal way, through the legal process, like it's always been done. And stay out of our bedrooms. I don't want to hear about your bedroom. I don't want to see people parading down the street saying how proud they are. I don't go parading down the street saying how proud I am to be a heterosexual. I mean, who cares? I have gay friends. They obviously have heterosexual friends because they're a friend of mine. One of my siblings is gay. But we don't have to make an issue out of everything. This is ridiculous. I don't know. I'm going to collect all the damn money I possibly can, and I am getting out of Dodge one day. As soon as I get through raising these children, I've had enough. Enough. I don't even want to participate in most of the population anymore with what I'm seeing on television. Give me some feedback. Tell me that there are sane people out there and that y'all have had enough too, and we would just all like to get back to some semblance of normalcy and decency and morals and values in this country. And the saner people in this country we all need to start standing up, because the crazies they're everywhere. They're all over the television. They're all over social media. And we just silently sit back because we don't want to be called names. We don't want to be judged. We don't want to, and basically we don't want to get in an argument with stupid, okay? Or waste our time, because we know good well we're not going to change any of their minds. I don't know what they're on. I don't know what was in the water. I don't know who raised them. I don't know anything. But this insanity has to stop. And the sane Americans of all color, creed, and sexual orientation, with morals and values, need to stand up and say, enough is enough. We've had it. Do your jobs, or we're going to get it in there and do the jobs, or we're going to get somebody else in there that can do the jobs. I don't give a flying flip about their education. I want to know that they have a high IQ, with or without an education. You can have a higher education, you can have a high IQ, and some common sense and common decency. Because this is crazy. And I am tired of crazy. Y'all have a nice evening. Just had to get that out. Whew, it's my form of therapy. Talk to y'all later.